The demise of Charleena Lyles, a pregnant mother in Seattle, has started shock over unreasonable police constraint against dark Americans. Seattle police shot and slaughtered a mother of 4 inside her flat within the sight of her young kids after she called law implementation to report a theft. The demise of 30-year-old Charleena Lyles, who police say was conveying a blade, has started shock the nation over, with fault-finders criticizing the shooting as another case of U.S. law implementation utilizing inordinate drive against dark Americans. 2 officers let go at Lyles soon after touching base to explore a thievery on Sunday morning, and the mother was articulated dead before she could be taken to a healing center, as indicated by police. Law Requirement on Monday discharged a 4-minute sound recording of the lethal experience, which catches an officers saying, "We require help and get back. Get back." Before they discharged a surge of shots. The Seattle Times distinguished the lady killed as Lyles and said she was pregnant and that 3 youngsters, ages 1, 4 and 11, were at home amid the shooting. Police said the adolescent were not harmed, and that other relatives are dealing with them. Police called Lyles a suspect in an underlying articulation. However, the Times announced that Lyles was the person who had decided to report a robbery. "They didn't just take 1 life, they took 2 lives," Wanda Cocker-Hearn, a cousin who raised Lyles, told The Guardian on Monday. "What's more, they devastated the 4 existences of her kids." Cocker-Hearn, 51, noticed that Lyles' 4-year-old little girl has Down's disorder and was attempting to comprehend what had happened. She included, her 11-year-old child needed to stroll not without a battle to the death. "I need equity, and we need answers." Lyles' relatives said she experienced psychological well-being challenges. The officers who let go at Lyles are currently on paid authoritative leave, which is standard convention in a shooting. It's hazy how the thievery examination heightened to a lethal shooting. Despite the fact that the police office would regularly just send 1 officer to explore a theft, police said that 2 officers researched for this situation because of data relating to this address introduced an expanded hazard to officers. In the police recording, which originated from the officers' dashcam video frameworks, 1 officer suggested that he knows about the home, saying, "Is this the one with the 3 children?" The officers additionally quickly said conceivable psychological wellness issues. The sound proposes that police shot their weapons not long after first experiencing Lyles. 1 officer gotten some information about a Xbox being taken and whether the entryway had been opened before the police began yelling at the lady to get back. Around 15 seconds after that initially charge, officers began terminating. "What is the motivation to utilize such deadly constraint?" said Erneshia Jack, a 23-year-old cousin of Lyles. "There are numerous approaches to quell somebody without shooting them. She's not huge. She's not threatening. She called you, and you went to her home and murdered her." Studies have more than once proposed that individuals with emotional sicknesses and handicaps are slaughtered by police at lopsidedly high rates. One report proposed that the danger of being killed by police is 16 times more noteworthy for people with untreated emotional instability contrasted with different regular folks. Police likewise execute African Americans at rates altogether higher than whatever is left of the populace. The officers who shot Lyles are white. The shooting came days after a Minnesota cop was vindicated of murder in the passing of Philando Castile, a dark driver whose case turned into a web sensation a year ago after his better half Liv spilled the consequence of the shooting on Facebook. The choice incited extensive dissents throughout the end of the week. Lyles is not the main prominent instance of police profiling dark Americans as suspects in their own particular homes. A year ago in Indianapolis, an African American lady was carjacked before her home, and after she and her significant other called police to report the theft, law authorization showed up and shot the spouse, with authorities later asserting that police thought he was the burglary suspect. There have been comparative instances of individuals shot in their own particular homes in Arizona, Florida, and Texas. The officers who slaughtered Lyles should confront charges, said Cochrane. These officers ought not have the capacity to stroll around with a grin on their appearances when 6 lives have been crushed, she stated, including, "She's a decent mother. She's a glad fun individual. She's the life of the gathering. Any place she goes, she sparkles." Lyles inhabited a complex of flats for once in the past vagrants, called the Burglar family place, as per the Seattle Times. Approximately 400 individuals live in the lofts and about portion of the inhabitants are youngsters. Mike Buckman, representative for Solid Ground, the not-for-benefit that works the complex, told The Guardian that inhabitants and staff were shaken by the shooting. "It's ghastly. Despite what may have been going ahead with her and the call to police, it ought not have finished thusly. We as a whole vibe that profoundly," he stated, including, "This isn't an occurrence in separation. The Seattle People Group has had a considerable measure of investigation about police reaction in groups of shading." Seattle's leader Ed Murray said in an announcement that the shooting is a disaster for all included and promised that the occurrence would be completely explored.